I may have moved two numbers around. I think it might be 4965, not 4695. I may have flipped two numbers. I'll just confirm that. It is. If you look on the contract itself, it's 4965, but still, it's still 14%.
Okay, what's the privilege of the board? Anyone want to make a motion?
I guess I'll move to accept this contract.
For $4,965. I'll second the motion.
Mrs. Flynn, go ahead.
Any further discussion on tri-state fire protection? All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You voted yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Then motion passes.
And the last subject is a scissor lift. Because in the new nursing home, we have 26-foot ceilings. There's smoke detectors, lighting, other cleaning that we need to do. I need to rent.
What's this?
It's a lift that you stand in, and it's got scissor jacks that.
Oh, okay.
It's a platform lift. It'll lift you straight up. I need to rent a scissor lift to do annual cleaning and have the smoke detectors inspected. They have to be removed and cleaned. I think I'm going to need this between myself and the smoke detector company, the people that need to use it. I'm looking at about 2 weeks rental.
Did you say rental?
Rental, yes. The best price that I got is a 4-week rental. I'm not going to need it for 4 weeks, but that's the best price. I got three prices, one from Sunbelt Rentals, one from NES Rentals, and one from Direct Equipment Alliance. Sunbelt Rentals and NES Rentals have either weekly or monthly rentals. Direct Equipment Alliance had a 2-week rental, but I'm kind of uncomfortable with Direct Equipment Alliance. They're like a clearinghouse. You dial a phone number somewhere. You talk to an operator in California, and she locates a machine and gets it to you. I'm kind of uncomfortable with that kind of setup. I'd rather go with a company that's established, somebody who actually has a physical in-house address. That leaves Sunbelt Rentals or NES Rentals. NES Rentals will give us a 4-week term for $385, and then once you include the delivery charges, other fees that they have, it's a total of $689. Sunbelt Rentals was subsequently $929, so I would recommend that we go ahead with NES Rentals.
You checked with the jail on their scissor lift?
Yeah, his isn't working very well. He's got drive problems with it. I guess last winter there was a leak, and the equipment was damaged by water. So he's done some repairs to it, but I don't think it's capable to be moved up to the nursing home. You'd have to check with them further, but I don't. The indication I got from Joe when I did ask him was that it's not in very good shape.
Will it lift that high?
I'm not sure. Joe wasn't even sure if it would go that high.
All right, we need to find out from Joe what's the problem with that one, but. So the recommendation is to go with NES Rentals.
Yeah, and this is all budgeted for. I put $1,000 in the budget for this.
Okay, for $689, and that's for 4 weeks?
It's for 4 weeks. I'm probably only going to have it for 2. I'm going to return it early, but they give you a weekly contract of $230 a week. So for 2 weeks, it would be $460. So you're better off taking the month for almost $100 less.
Mm-hmm. Do I hear a motion to?
1 second. So for how long do you need it? You're
I need
not
it
sure?
about 2 weeks,
Oh, okay.
but I'm renting it for a month because that's the best price.
Would, you're assuming that you can get the company, Tri-State, come in the same time, or you
Oh,
gonna?
yeah, no, I've already,
Made that?
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna come in at the same time, but I have the lift and they're gonna use it when I have it.
Do I hear a motion?
And we're talking about NES?
NES rental
correct.
for $689.
Okay, I move to accept the rental of, from NES, to $689.
Ash, you wanna-
NES.
You second it?
Yes.
Okay, motion been made and seconded that we use NES rentals at $689 for a 4-week term. That's for scissor lift. All those, any further discussion on it? All those supporting the motion say aye.
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 Thank you. So voted then.
And that's it for contracts for now. I'll have a pest contract in the next week or so.
Bringing in pets.
Yeah. The pellet boiler, I shut the pellet boiler down Friday because the insulation company came in and insulated the breach on the pellets, on the pellet boiler. That's the flue pipe and all the hot surfaces. I'll be
Mhm.
firing that back up again today.
Okay. So it changed over to propane, okay?
Oh, no, not a problem at all. Flip of a switch, basically.
Have you ever had to clean it yet?
Well, a couple times a week I rake out the coals.
That's what I meant, yeah.
But it doesn't need a thorough cleaning once a year.
Oh, okay.
We actually get in and brush it and vacuum it.
And those coals are being, what you rake out, you're going to be using as, on the farm?
The ash gets collected and will be given to Will to,
Not that much though, is it?
no, I haven't even,
Pailful?
I've been burning that for almost 2 months now, and the ash hasn't even made it up the auger system into the 55-gallon drum yet. It's still sitting in the auger, making its
Mhm.
way up there, so it hasn't generated very much.
Well, it's only on the, it's only on one. we're
Yeah, it's only on the
using
smaller
one.
boiler. Yeah.
See what happens in the winter.
Okay.
And I'll be there all day Saturday, farm day.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So if anybody wants to.
I see it advertised as a tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Great.
Okay, thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Sandy? You have anything for public, Sandy?
I can give the sense, yeah.
Okay.
I guess I do. Good morning. The census this morning is 103. We have 22 private residents, 5 Medicare residents, 72 Medicaid residents, and 4 pending. I believe on July 5th, I reported the pro share payment to be $631,580. There is a draft going before the governor and council, increasing that for us to $192,000, an additional $192,042, which would bring up the total to $823,622.
Why is the increase?
Well, again, they're looking at the changes in Medicare, and as I think you're aware that effective October 1, Medicare reimbursement rates were decreased by 11.1%. We're no longer getting the ARRA payments or the stimulus monies. So all of these incremental things have had an effect.
Mhm.
Again, we can't count on it until it happens, and
Yeah.
again, it's going to the governor
So
and
that's
council.
strictly a bill that's in, hasn't been approved yet?
Well, it's going to them on August 8th, so you shall see about that. And then as far as nursing education, there are 3 nursing staff members who will begin a wound education course, which will lead to certification, which is a very positive thing for the home.
Okay.
There we are.
I was at a Service Link meeting yesterday,
Mhm.
and one of the things that were discussed was the education on certain issues with Service Link for nursing homes.
Mhm.
And I hope that our nursing home will go
Absolutely.
there this time, because
Absolutely.
they did not attend last time.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Have you heard anything back from the VA?
Not recently, no.
They're waiting for a survey?
Well, again, it's a new home. They usually look for the first survey. Our survey was a week after we moved in. I'm not sure how great that is, but anyway, again, I will call this week and see where we are.
Anybody got any questions of Sandy? If not, thank you for your report, Sandy. You had something
I have a
you wanted to
report,
bring up?
yeah.
Debbie Newland is here, and she has...
Oh, okay. I will wait.
What?
Debbie Newland
She
is on
said
the
She's going to
agenda.
talk.
Missed her.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Debbie, I missed you.
Good morning. I actually just have a few quick things. First of all, for Mr. Babson, the last time I saw you, you had requested some numbers regarding the savings to the county in going with the insurance opportunities that were selected by the insurance committee. And I just wanted to let you know, I did put some numbers together, but frankly, I'm not a mathematician. It's not my strong suit. So I have submitted those numbers to a representative in the industry to check those for me, and I expect to have them back prior to next week. I can either email them to you, or I can bring them in. All right, that's fine.
Before you go on, along with that issue, the flu, we were talking about the cost of flu shots.
Yes.
And you said that the company was going to pick up the, I have a note here somewhere,
Going to reimburse us.
reimburse us for some,
They will.
Yeah.
The savings to the county in going with Mountain View Community Inoculations over
right.
the inoculations being offered by Interlocal Trust is some $19 per inoculation.
Mhm.
And when you cross that over some 150 individuals who were inoculated last year, that's a significant number.
Yes.
Because we are electing to go with the Mountain View Community Inoculations, Interlocal Trust has agreed to come back and reimburse us for the county's cost for those inoculations through Mountain View. So the cost to the county is actually nil.
I just wanted to put that on record. Thank you.
You're welcome. I do have just some brief figures for you. There's been some interest in how the New Hampshire retirement system returns are going this year. There's been a lot of flux in the market. There's been, of course, the debt ceiling debacle and the ongoing difficulties over in Europe. The estimate for the returns for this year were supposed to be somewhere between 0.1 and 1.5% for the year. And at this particular point, midway through the year, they are looking at a 0.7 return. Those figures are as recent as the meeting that was held yesterday. I also wanted to let you know, again, midway through the year, where we're at as far as our workers' compensation program. Our net member contribution is slightly up from $186,732 last year to $219, $545 this year, which constitutes an increase of roughly 17.6%. That's attributable to an increase in personnel, as well as some slip-fall issues that we had earlier in the year, which are mainly attributable to ice, snow, and wet floors from the season. The most significant area of compensation still tends to be in the area of strains and sprains. And again, the most significant cause of that continues to be the slip-fall issue. And
Does that pertain to the ice and snow?
I believe it does. When I look at the graphs, we're looking at roughly 11 claims in January, down to 2 claims in July. So I believe that's directly attributable to weather.
You don't have a location on those, do you?
I don't, but I can get them. One of the things that we've done we've been partnering with risk management to look at benchmarks for the year, and we are actually already at our benchmark for the year. One of the recommendations that they had made was to provide more details on the locations, and I believe it was Sandy and Patty Kane at the nursing home who reformatted the reporting form for slip falls and other injuries to include specific location information.
I think one of the most important things having to do with looking at any incident that should happen in the county is obviously, first is the reporting, which we're doing really well now.
Yes.
The second is to investigate once that incident has occurred. The issue is, how did it happen? You know, what if it was outside, the weather conditions, where, et cetera, to answer Commissioner Sorensen's question. So I think that investigation and Patty Kane looking at the educational component, what can we do to educate staff so this won't happen or reoccur again? So hopefully with those measures in place, we'll see an improvement.
Yes. Our next safety committee meeting is scheduled for tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock until 2 o'clock here. I'm hoping for some maximum attendance. I did send out an email to everyone. And Sandy, I'm sorry, I got in this morning and found out the email I sent to you had actually been kicked back to me, so I think this is the first you're hearing of this. But for the record, I am hoping to have Sandy Burrows here from Primex to meet with us. And we'll also be looking at some information that may lead to a change in chairmanship that might give Sandy a bit of a break.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
I'm sorry I skipped right over you.
That's quite all right.
Anybody got any questions of the board? No?
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. At this point in time, we will go back into public input.
Oh, can I?
Oh, you got
have
something, I'm sorry, go ahead.
See if I still have it. Yeah. I attended yesterday a state's finance meeting with people from Health and Human Service in Concord at the New Hampshire Association. And I have a couple notes. Governor Lynch and New Hampshire legislator passed a new law establishing the Medicaid Care Management Program. Chapter Law 125, Laws of 2011, SB 147. As you can imagine, this is a new law that will take time for the county to understand, digest, and implement. The HHS is implementing care management in 3 steps. Step 1, this year. The program includes everyone who is receiving Medicaid-funded health care, with some exceptions. Step 2, next year. The program becomes mandatory for everyone receiving Medicaid, no opting out, Medicaid waiver, and nursing home services are added. Step 3, 2014. Affordable Care Act allows states to expand Medicaid to include adults who fall below certain income levels. $15,000 for single, $30,000 a year for family of 4. It will be important for the nursing home administration and commissioners to understand the second year, which involves nursing home services under the state's new care management system. The county needs to understand the Federal Affordable Care Act and to see if the Medicaid program is going to be expanded or not in the state. There are many questions unanswered by the Supreme Court ruling, which needs to be addressed by the executive and legislative branch of state government. One of the questions that needs to be asked: what if the state of New Hampshire opts out of the Affordable Care Act? What does that mean for the state? The HHS 2013 budget was discussed. As of now, the state is expecting $30 million shortfall in revenue, which will fall onto HHS to make additional cuts in their budget and force a possible management care delay of 6 months. Due to limited resources at the state, all agencies and levels of government are going to have to work closely together. Stakeholders must define the core services that the people of New Hampshire need. New legislators must understand the need for those basic services. This cannot be about preserving DHS, partner agencies, or institutions. Our focus is whole person approach versus a system preservation. It will be important to have continued participation in health and human services stakeholders meetings and try to understand the new case management law and how it is being implemented. HHS has also a website where you can email your questions.
May I ask that you just read something, obviously. From whom is this?
From yesterday,
I
from
know,
the state.
who made that statement? Whose
Oh,
statement did you read?
I make notes from the
That's not-
deputy commissioner. I make some notes.
That's your
and
statement?
I make some notes, what she said.
Yes.
And I did a little research and did also a couple for myself. I put in.
And you
added
wrote that
it.
statement?
Yes.
Sandy, are you aware of this situation?
Up until now, I believe that Commissioner Tumpus had obviously set or wrote a briefing on what is expected through the Medicaid, managed Medicaid. The Centers of Medicare and Medicaid came back, and unless you heard something yesterday, Commissioner Kenny, said they had questions. And so right now, it's delayed the phase 1 to start until questions are answered by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. There are 3 companies
Yes.
that are being vetted in the state to see about who is going to look to be involved in the managed Medicaid program. I think the biggest problem here is it's going to cost us as a county, as a nursing home, money. Because once you begin managed care, just as you have managed care in a lot of insurance agencies, who is going to be providing on an ongoing basis information for those insurance companies that are working on this. But again, I still think this is in the infancy stages. We're trying to get as much information as we can about what's going on. But I'm sorry I couldn't go to yesterday's meeting. But it's an exciting time, but it's also fraught with a lot of issues.
There's going to be a lot more paperwork because there are 3 companies involved.
And it was my understanding that the 3 companies are involved. It's not just one company. It's all 3 are going to be involved.
Well,
You have to choose
There will be
which
a
of
choice, right?
which of the companies. That presents, from what I understand, as a problem on itself, because people are going to be asked to choose with not a whole lot of information as to which is best for them.
That's right.
I think that's where ServiceLink is going to try to get involved.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay. You have anything else?
We have, I have non-public minutes.
Okay.
Can I just make a quick report on?
Go ahead. Yeah.
On Monday, there was a subcommittee meeting for the jail, and there were minutes taken, so they will be available, I suspect, at some point in time.
Yes.
Mr. Babson?
Susan did an excellent job taking them, and I put the draft at home, and I'll send it over.
Terrific. Basically, the meeting was about a new contract for phone service with a company that we are presently have, Black Box, and it was an explanation of what was needed, why there was a need for an updating of the equipment, and I think it was certainly presented in a logical fashion, and there were many questions asked by those who were present. And we will see what the results are. I think we're going to be the subcommittee decided to look a little closer at perhaps what was going on at the nursing home and see if that company, is that, would you say that was something you would be looking to do?
Commissioner, I would say that that's fairly accurate. I was left with the impression that you and the commissioners were going to look into
Oh, you want
finding
us
out
to
what
look
the
at?
service was at.
Well, we did tell you
at
what the
nursing
service was.
home. The idea is, doesn't seem to make much sense to the subcommittee to have one telephone service supplier at the jail, one here and one over at the, and as the contracts run out, that we begin to take a look at a full package.
That's
for all
certainly,
three.
quite true.
But I didn't
But we
think,
do
I
have,
didn't think the subcommittee for the
Oh,
jail was
okay.
gonna do it for the nursing. home.
that's fine.
Okay.
But there are other companies involved in
Yes.
telephone service here on the campus. It's
We
not
had a
just those
very,
two.
very, very excellent presentation by the black box salesman. As of September of this year, NEC, which is the world's largest manufacturer of telephone equipment, is going to stop making parts and providing service 3 months later for the system that we have. So some of our stuff, he gave us a presentation. We can opt in immediately with all new equipment. I think that was around $15,000. We can try to mitigate it for a while, and as the parts break down, if we can't get new ones, then we have to move into their new system. That was, don't hold me to it, I think 6,000 or 7,000. It was substantially less. But the fact is that the equipment we have here, service and parts are not going to be available. I think it's parts after September and service after December. So something has to be done.
Does this include in-house telephones
Yes.
from inmates to relatives and so forth?
No, he didn't. I guess
strictly
I'd
out.
have to say that question didn't even come up. We were assuming it was the 15 or 20 stations that they have at the jail interacting as one network.
Okay. Okay.
And the presentation was excellent, and we requested that Jason see if a competitor has a same type of presentation they could put on.
Okay.
Additionally, yesterday, I went to well, it's not exactly an opening, and it's not exactly a groundbreaking, but the VNS service, the nursing service, is going to go into a new building for their...
Visiting nurse.
Visiting nurse, thank you, I was looking for that word. I kept on thinking of veterans. Visiting nurse service is going into a new building. It's going to be in North Conway, in the old Lennox building with Lennox was sales was, and they had an open house yesterday to show off and to ask the public for some help in the renovation. It was really a renovation that's going on, and that does affect us on a county level. So these are nurses. They do long-term. They do housekeeping and short-term care of our county residents. So it was an interesting and a very good location for them, because they needed much more space than they had in their since they combined, they needed much more space than they had today.
Anything else?
No.
Do you have anything else?
I have the non-public minutes.
Okay.
Oh, the 3 sets what you have from 2011, we still need to release it. You have it for a couple months, so.
Okay.
Can you give it today to me if you don't have it here? So I can release it the next time.
Okay, I'd like to report, I went to Pittsburgh for the National Association of Counties, and I'll just report on a couple of items that was discussed there. One is regarding the jail. I opted to take a tour of the Allegheny County Jail. It's right downtown Pittsburgh. It's 6 floors, 6 stories high. Their toughest inmates are up on the 6th floor. I asked if anybody tried to escape, and she said yes, one did. They share a window, two cells share a window, and they were able to cut out a corner of it. So this guy escaped, but he didn't tie his bed sheets long enough to make it to the ground. And when he dropped, he died, was killed. So that was the end